Rob Flax here. I play things with strings, I hit stuff, and I sing. And today I have so many cool things to show you, but I want to just start with a really awesome pedal that I've been using for some time now and haven't had a chance to show off. It's the Chase Bliss and Meris collaboration, the second in Chase Bliss's Automaton series. It's the CXM 1978. And this is a quick and dirty demo. Right now, I just want to show you how I use it with a violin and some sounds. My signal chain is wildly complicated, and there's going to be not just one, maybe multiple videos explaining the whole rundown coming soon. Suffice it to say, my violin is eventually making its way into my pedal board and eventually making its way into the CXM 1978. I am using the other automaton, the Benson Preamp Mark II, and that is going into the Crazy Tube Circuits Golden Ratio compressor, and the two of them are then going into the CXM. And right now that's it. It's going into my Cabzus and into the interface. So with it off, here's the sound. I'm gonna mute the room mics and then turn on the CXM so you can hear what it sounds like, and then flip through some more sounds. Like this thing that inspired it, which is the Lexicon rack reverb from back in 1978, is it has independent controls for the decay time of the low frequencies and the mid frequencies, and those are determined by this crossover slider. So right now, that crossover point, I don't know what it's actually at. I'm just sort of used my ear to find a preset that I liked, and that sounded good. Now, ready for this? Ooh, all the sliders move. It's an automaton, so it can visually recall your presets. Now let's take a listen to the Hall setting with high diffusion, and it's kind of a lower decay time. Again, I'll mute the room mic so you can hear it. Honestly, 9 times out of 10, this is my go-to setting. It's the room reverb, and it is my favorite setting on this reverb pedal, which is surprising. Normally, a violin sounds really good in a hall, and I love using plate sounds, and don't get me wrong, those are really cool too. But many, many, many times, I just want it to sound like my pickup is the acoustic instrument in a space, and this thing does an incredible job. Have a listen. I'm going to bypass the preset, and then I'll turn it on, and you'll hear just how much of a difference it makes. Again, I'm muting the room mic, so you're only hearing the direct signal. That's the stuff. It just feels so more three-dimensional. Let's hear some wilder presets. Preset 3 is a beautiful, really enormous, like unfathomably large room. You might even call it a hall, but no, it sounds different from the hall. It's just a big room. Let's have a listen. Now let's get into some weirder ones. This is the lo-fi setting. You can see with the red indicator on the far right. The far right arcade button is in the lo-fi mode, which means it gets a little gritty and kind of 8-bit. Have a listen. You can really hear that sort of diffusion-y, sort of pre-delay effect that's happening here in the Hall mode. When I give a strike of a transient, you can really hear all that stuff trickling away. So it's almost like a slapback delay. And frankly, that's how a lot of reverb algorithms work. There's multiple taps that are then sort of smeared together. One more really bonkers one. Here's that lo-fi setting, but with more tank mud and more diffusion, but on the room setting. So now it's the pre-delay serves as sort of like a bit crusher, bit reduction. Have a listen. We listen to hi-fi, we've listened to lo-fi. Standard is right in the middle, and that's sort of the 1978 technology. Here's a really long, washy room with the standard setting and some high diffusion. Have a listen. And so on. There are so many great sounds in this thing, but rather than go through every single thing, I'll just say that for my purposes, this is my almost always on realistic room reverb, and I love the high fidelity nature of it. But if I need to get ambient and washy, I can do so, and even better is stacking it with other delays and reverbs. I have the Chase Bliss Thermae as well as the Earthquaker Avalanche run. So for a super ambient washy thing, and my patrons on Patreon have already heard a great deal of these sounds. I did a collaboration in May called Mindful May with a dancer, choreographer, yoga instructor named Kristen Wagner, and she had me make a lot of beautiful ambient music for her yoga flow classes. So the CXM, as soon as I got it installed in this setup, just everything sounded more three-dimensional, more ambient, more lovely, more lush. I'll give you a little taste of that right now with a combination of Thermae and the Avalanche run with the CXM. So those all combined gives a nice big wash. And if you'd like to hear more of that, you could check out her series Mindful May. Go check out Bodies Moving on Instagram. I'll tag that below in the links in the description, as well as if you'd like to have access to all the music I recorded for that, that is available to my Patreon supporters. So here's a little sneak preview of that, or taste of some ambient flavor. Here we go. and it just goes and goes forever and ever. I love it. So much more to come about the CXM in the future, but for now, just know that it's a really lovely sounding reverb and I'm delighted by it. Question, is it too expensive for you? Maybe. This is the most expensive pedal I've ever bought. Full retail, it's like $900, which sounds pretty staggering for just a reverb pedal when I already have several other reverb pedals. So why? Well, first, it's easy to use. The presets are savable and recallable. The controls are very clear and explicit. It's very handy for studio purposes where you just need a really good sounding reverb quickly that you can dial in and EQ to taste. You'll notice that it behaves a little differently with low frequencies. So if I want something to sit right, but it's a low instrument, the CXM will do that properly. The other reason that might be useful is it's Midiable. It's controllable by Midi, and if you haven't seen my chessboard drum machine video, go watch that. But suffice it to say, right off camera here is my chessboard that is going to be able to control all my Midi parameters, including this reverb. So having a Midiable reverb sounded like a really fun idea, and I'm looking forward to exploring that. Last but not least, full disclosure, I definitely know the folks at Chase Bliss, and so they were kind enough to hook me up with a discount. It was only a partial discount. I am an endorsing artist, so I got an artist rate, but it's still the most expensive pedal I've ever bought. I'm just such a Chase Bliss fanboy. It sounds so good, and it slots right into my setup and works really well as a studio reverb. The perfect always-on sound or ambient floaty thing, weird freak-out lo-fi bit crush delay, and everything in between. And sometimes you don't need more than that, just the simple goodness, and that will do. So thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this, leave a comment and let me know what you liked about it. What is your favorite reverb pedal? Do you have another one that you think could beat the CXM? Or why don't you want to buy it? Or why do you want to buy it? Leave a comment, let me know. I'm curious to know what reverbs work well for your instrument. If you enjoyed this, please hit the like button, that helps me out. And if you want to subscribe to the channel so you get more videos, that would be great too. Thanks also to my supporters on Patreon. If you want to hear a lot more of this reverb, go check out patreon.com/RobFlax. Okay, see you in the next one. Bye.